So the things that you know and the things that you know that you don't know are very minute compared to the things that you don't know that you don't know. The same way the joyous parts of life have a right to exist, it's the same way the other sad part of life has a right to exist. Because in essence, there's nothing that is against you. Not one thing in this world is created against you. So to see the world totally, you have to humble yourself and let whatever created you express itself through you. And that to me is intelligence. My sister wants to tell you something. Be nice.
Hey, we're organizing a group cooking event at 87 Mall along Oyekwe. It will be on a Saturday. You're all welcome to come and enjoy the event. You don't have to cook, you can come and enjoy the event. It will be on a Saturday. To register, you just have to click the below link and you're all welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for being nice.
I've heard a lot of I am.
I am, yeah.
What is that?
I am is essence. It's not personally referring to me as a person. It's what is within you and me and that stone and that tree. Whatever constitutes them, that common isness in them is what I am is. Yeah. The common essence in everything in creation. Yeah.
So then the second question is, what is isness?
Isness is the way things are. That which you cannot run away from, that which I am exists in. Yeah, something like that. So isness is something like something necessary, an expression of necessity. You can't get it other way. You can't get it in any other way other than the way it is. So if you are going through life and you find life is hard, it's because that is what is. At the moment it is hard, the next moment it's going to be easy. The isness is the easiness. That is what is. Experience it without wanting to change it or run away from it, because that is the reality. That is the I am in the what is. The I am in the isness. Yeah.
But it's so seducing to want to change what is for what can be or what we think can be better.
Yeah.
What can we do about
it's
that?
It's good that you say what we think can be, but what we think is not what is. What is. You can't change it. But what can be is also within that what is. Understand? So it's not that you're reasoning. The whole spectrum is called isness. So whatever you experience within it, as can be or as is, that is what is.
I'm lost.
You're lost.
Yeah.
But I've tried.
So, in this spectrum, you say it's a spectrum, right?
A whole spectrum of infinity.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what is can also be substituted, or we can change from what is to what can or might.
What can, what might are within what is. What is what is ultimate. You can't change it, because if you try to run away from it to what you think can be, you will be feeling some dissonance, because you are not aligned to the moment as is. But if you are aligned to the moment as is, you see totally with breadth and height, because you are there in the present moment totally. So the essence of I am is to be in the present moment as is, as isness. The projections of the future or regrets of the past are not there within the moment, and you cannot say that this can happen, yet it is not here in the moment. In physical terms, you can see the logic that it can happen, but in reality, how many things have you thought that can happen that have never happened? Many. So the isness is what is. What can, what might, what was, that's not. This present moment is what is. Yeah, so being in this present moment, because there are infinite things around you that if you concentrate on, and live fully in this moment, you won't think of the past and you won't care about the future because you are fully preoccupied with this moment. And the poem that says we are it, we are this moment. And this moment has everything to satisfy it as is, to satisfy you as it is. The only thing is that you have been programmed to want to run away from the moment or live in the past in regret. And the point of this poem is to center you, to ground you as the one that shapes all moments, be it future or past. Within this moment is the shaping, and you can't shape it by projecting this and this will happen and this will be honest. You shape it by being fully in the moment and doing the necessary things here. You cross all the T's and you dot all the I's, and you move on as a total being. If you move as a total being, you can't worry about the future because you have already taken care of this moment fully. So when you move to the next moment, you are moving in it as a full total person with everything that needs that moment requires, because there's nothing in the past that you've left off and done.
It's very easy for you to say that when let's say let me give an example of the moment, the isness in this moment is not what you would rather experience. For example, it's a hard life, it's difficult, so it's you constantly want that to end, that suffering to end, that
is running away. And I'm not advocating for running from. I'm not advocating for being in that moment, whether it's hard, easy, joyous, or so sad. Those are parts of being. They are parts of being, they are parts of the existence, and they have a right to exist. The same way the joyous parts of life have a right to exist, it's the same way the other sad part of life has a right to exist. So you being in the moment, because I'm a Christian, if you look at it the way you are told, it is not your baggage. The way Christ tells us, it's not your baggage to carry what is in the moment. It's your baggage to be in the moment. So however hard it is, that hardness does not belong to you. It belongs to your Creator. You understand? So you be in the moment, observe. You are a being brought in this existence to observe, to spectate. Understand? And everything that you observe and spectate, they happen through you and to you. But you are not the doer. Yours is to be in the experience. And the only way to learn cosmically and consciously is through experience. You understand? Because you might see someone else experiencing something the way the world tells you that learn by other people's deeds, but you don't know what that person is going through. You don't know how he is experiencing reality. You will be running away from that experience because he experienced it, but you haven't had that experience yourself. So there's a kind of negation with that statement that says, avoid this because this and this happened to this guy. You understand? I'm not saying that where logically you can reason it out and say this and this happened and it is going to happen to me. You can apply your logic. But with that experience as it is coming to you, you're experiencing it as you, in your way, in your view of how you see things, not in the other person's way. So the experience will make a lasting change in you as you be in it. Be in the moment, be in the experience. Just don't run away from it, because that is part of being. Yeah.
So break it down. When you say be in the moment,
yeah,
what exactly is that?
Be in the moment is fully embodying the present as it is. And that consists in knowing the light and the darkness, because that is what we are made of. We are made of things we know. Things we know, those are the things we see and everything. Things you know, the other person knows, and things we don't know. Things we know we don't know, and things we don't know that we don't know. So you live in that whole spectrum from things you don't know that you don't know to the things you know that you know. You understand? So in that being, you move as one who knows that those things I know that I don't know are for me. They are not against me. Because what we are essentially doing on earth right now in the name of development of everything is running away from things we don't know that we don't know. You understand? Because we are trying to, what do you call it? To capture the essence of the universe with the logic of the human being. You understand? And that is not impossible. So the better part of what you are the things you don't know that you don't know, because the universe is infinite. So the things that you know and the things that you know that you don't know are very minute compared to the things that you don't know that you don't know. So being in the present moment is being with that knowledge that it is not me who is doing, it is whatever is that I don't know that I don't know, that is mainly encompassing everything that is happening in the world. So being is being in the moment, doing what comes to you naturally in the moment with the consciousness that the world is not yours to rule over. It belongs to another being, the creator. You understand? So being conscious of your creator in essence is being. And to be in being, there is also how to be. And how to be, that's why you find their religions, their spiritual practices. You understand? Because they are trying to tell man how they should be. It's not dogma or anything. For you to understand them, you see that there's a limit to where that word, the religion, the religious books and doctrines, there's a limit where it reaches and says, this one only God knows. You understand? So that one where only God knows is what? We don't know that we don't know. But in the describing, in the definition of how to be, these religious books have it. So in whatever religion you find yourself ascribing to, be in that way while serving your creator. Yeah.
Now, give me a few examples or illustrations of things that you know that you don't know.
Things that I know that I don't know. What is this? What is this? I know this. I've named it as flesh. I've named it as blood or body and everything. But what is it made of? It has no name. We only name by limitation. You only name by limitation. The first of all, if you ask yourself, what do you call, what is that which you call what you call? You know it is because you see it, it exists. And by necessity, the scientists named it with characteristics. And those characteristics are the limitations we have placed upon it. But in essence, what is it that we are seeing all over? You tell me, what is it? In essence, who knows what it is?
You have a valid point because this is flesh.
But we have named it.
Yes.
But what is it?
Yeah. I think the scientists would call it atoms and...
yeah, you see, to define what he sees, definition is limitation. So we can never name everything as it is as long as we are limited. That's why you see science is ever discovering and refuting past discoveries. Because it doesn't know what it sees, it only describes the characteristics and how, just to name it. And it's not even science, even language. Language name things for the basic need of communication. Understand? But that naming is very limited. And to tell you why it is limited, you can't limit God. The same way you can't limit the essence of anything you name. Every day we are discovering new things about things because we don't know anything, very minute things about our world. So that's why you see the future is projected on technology and the past had no technology and they didn't know how to project it because they are sure they are going to discover more things. And this one comes to me, I read a book somewhere and it told me that there are four basics about living consciously. There's truth, there's profundity, there's silence, and there's intelligence. Four basics, the four corners of the square. Truth is what we are seeking and what we live as. Understand? We live as truth and we are seeking more of it. Profundity is knowing that there's always more truth going to come out by you diving more into truth. You will discover there's always something to discover. You will never reach the end. So you move with the attitude of expecting profundity every day, something to change your life and your outlook every day. And then there's intelligence, the ability to see the profound. And then there is silence. The fact that you are means that you're complete. And if you operate in that silence without seeking affirmation or validation from outside you, you will see reality as is in the end and see things anew. And every day in seeing those things, you will realize that the other person cannot relate with your seeing to affirm it. So if you go looking for validation outside you, you will be like you're looking for madness, because you have seen the truth and you don't, and you expect this other person who doesn't see it to confirm it for you. So the silence is necessary in the conscious part of living. Yeah.
I think that's where scientists would disagree, because when a scientist sees truth,
yeah,
they want it to be confirmed by their peers.
By peer review. Yeah.
Peer review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in time, they are always refuted. Very few scientists have come up with concrete knowledge of the universe. And most of the knowledge we are using right now in development and in science and in everything are ancient truths discovered by ancient scientists. These ancient scientists were not just scientists like the way we see ours going to university and calling themselves. These ancient scientists were priests, were philosophers, and they were scientists. And they belonged to the secret societies of that time. Like people like Plato, people like Pythagoras, people like even Moses in the Bible. Moses was trained in the way of Egyptian wisdom and everything. You understand? So they were first of all priests, which means they acknowledge the internal way of being. Then they were philosophers, people who can leverage what they see on the outside and compare it with what they see on the inside. And then they were scientists. So the science was not just a way to prove the external world. It was a way to validate the internal world. You understand? Not unlike the scientists of today who only study the external world. Because if you look at it, these things, you will find that most of the things in religion are scientific. Like the stars and the moon, those are the things, all astrology and everything. Those things are religious. If you look at them the way they have been applied, beyond the surface meanings of religious books, you'll find that they were written by studying the stars, the seasons and everything. Understand? So science today is very different from the way the scientists in the ancient time reasoned. And the knowledge we're using right now, let me affirm that we are using ancient knowledge to survive. The only new things we have right now is more resources to research on and find out. But it all goes, the most concrete foundations of science today are based on ancient knowledge. Very few instances of original and concrete knowledge have been discovered today.
I want to take you back to the four corners.
Yeah.
So you need intelligence.
Intelligence.
To see truth.
To see truth. To what do you call it? To discern truth.
what type of intelligence? Is it books intelligence, spiritual intelligence, or religious intelligence?
Spiritual and religious intelligence are one, because the religion is spirit. The religion is not about the word that is written. You understand? Religion is about the spirit behind the written word. That's why it's written, God is spirit and you worship him in spirit, not in words and everything, but the spirit of the word. There's a difference. So intelligence mainly is, to me, is humility, to understand that you know nothing, but you can discern what you see. You can distinguish. You can distinguish what you see as either valuable or invaluable. You understand? And that intelligence comes with humility. You let, the last time we discussed about cosmic pedagogy, being taught by the universe, you let the universe teach you, because already you are created of intelligence. You understand? There's nothing dumb about you. Yeah? And that intelligence, the only way you can tap to it yourself is by humbling yourself and letting it emerge through you. You understand? If the ego gets out in the way, get in the way of that intelligence expression, you are living from a limited point of view, a limited way of seeing the world. So to see the world totally, you have to humble yourself and let whatever created you express itself through you. And that to me is intelligence, because nothing gets in your way right now. You move as one who knows that you are knowing. You are created with knowing. And the more you go inside, the more you know anew. That's why I said what you know and what I know it does not necessarily have to tally, as long as we are using the intelligence that you are created with, because we are created with different purposes. The internal intelligence that you have, the only common intelligence that we have in common is in silence. And that in that silence is when the natural intelligences of God expresses themselves. So we have much more in common in silence than we have in our views. You understand that? Because people are out here looking for common views. No, we have more in common. If everybody kept silent for like a second, internally silent, externally silent, mentally silent, we would see the universe as one. Because that is where our commonness is held to. Our commonness is in that intelligence that comes with humility. And humility means silence and accepting that you know not. Only God knows. Yeah.
Big world. We say we see only like less than 1% of reality. The rest is either not visible to us because it's outside of the visible light spectrum.
The spectrum.
Or it's not even in our perception zones.
Yeah.
For all the other senses.
For all the other senses.
Yeah.
But it is there. You understand? That is the reality. That's why I told you, you're justifying what I've said. Humility, silence, and you let it express itself. And reality, we don't know much about reality. Even quantum physics says it. They don't know what happens when they look at an atom in a microscope. Because when you're not thinking of it, it's not there. But the moment you intentionally look at it is when it appears. You understand? So when it's like you're summoning it to appear. You understand? But that has really twisted the views of many people, because they're telling me what you think of, what you think of, and what you concentrate on a lot is what appears in your life. So they don't realize that these people they are telling these are very unconscious people. They don't know themselves. So when you concentrate on the good stuff and ignoring the bad stuff about you, the bad stuff is also going to come. That is what quantum physics doesn't tell these people, because everybody's here visioning. Big houses and big cars. but they are not like purifying themselves. Unacheki, they are not it's called consecration, making themselves pure by knowing themselves. You understand? So that whether that car is there or that house is there, you are total and you know yourself. You understand? So I've forgotten your question, but what was it again?
I was just, it was just a statement about reality being 1%.
Yeah. Reality is only 1%, because when I told you about the atom, even when it appears, it's surrounded by electrons, and there's the nucleus, or what is it? The nuclear. And then it's surrounded by electrons. Sindio?
Not sure.
Yeah, that's it. And now when you look at it, the ratio of the distance from the nucleus to the orbiting electrons to the reality, in reality right now, is something like 6 miles apart, racially, on ratio. So the nucleus is here, the electrons are 6 miles apart from the nucleus. So all this is space. So imagine we are more space than we are solid. We are more space than we are the solid we think we are. So in this space, which means nothingness is more than thingness. You understand? And yet in the world here, we are always looking how we will become something. Yet our essence is within that space of nothingness. And that space of nothingness, since you cannot see God, is where God is. And once you embrace that, you will see that peace that is beyond the human understanding. You operate at a certain balanced level where whatever happens, but it doesn't touch you. Like the lotus flower. It's in muddy waters, but when the mud comes and if you spill that mud on it, no, it's going to slide and the lotus flower will remain as white as snow. That's how reality, these things that we fear in life, they don't touch us. They don't touch us. If they touched us, we couldn't survive. But now you identify with them. That's why you suffer. But they're just supposed to slide down and go into their own business. And let me tell you something. The business of creation is not something easy. Let's use the myth of the Bible. Just in, I don't know how many years Adam lived in the Garden of Eden before the fall. But just due to the fall, we have to go through more than 5,000 years from Adam to Jesus, then another 2,000 years waiting for the new age to come, just to fulfill the essence of that, just to fulfill the essence of creation before the fall. You understand? As much as we are going to know when the end comes, we are going to know ourselves as people who know what it takes to create. You understand? But we will have gone through a lot as a human race. And that business is not for man, that is business for God. Yours is just to be. And to be is be with Him, because you are created first of all to be in communion with God. So no moment should pass without you being in communion with God. You understand? Whether in what all religions, what they preach is communion with your Creator. So if a moment passes without being in communion with your Creator, that's when you suffer.
So the lesson I've gotten is silence is it. Because like the space in the nucleus, atom, there's more space
than there is
matter. So essentially, there's more silence.
There's more silence
than there is
noise.
Yeah.
There's more silence than there is noise. There's more nothingness than there is thingness, because in essence, there's nothing that is against you. Not one thing in this world is created against you. it's all for you. And in reality, when you suffer these things, they're not touching you. If you are in communion with God or your creator all the time, trust me, whether somebody cuts you like this, like the way they cut me here, you won't feel it. It will be cut, you will feel the pain, but it won't touch your essence, because you know it's nothing. You know it's going to heal. You know you had to go through it, and you're not going through it alone. You are never alone. If you are alone, you would be a god, because you are the first one. Only God is alone. The rest of us, we are with God. And if God is with you, who can be against you?
True.
We are it. Customs, rituals, and traditions, the searching, necessary expressions of being. Building cultures, shaping voices of generations. I only walk as past sages and seers did, flowing with the ineffable voice within, never diverted by possibility. I tread only the impossible path, for the whispers in my soul never are. And if anything could, then it should. I'm the way. I see nothing ahead other than experience. Nothing teaches me in hindsight, for nothing ever repeats itself in my movements. I move both knowingly and unknowingly, totally never anxious nor despondent, for I walk paths I have walked from the beginning, only ever anew, and my motion is everywhere. I move everything. I am the golden age for all time. I speak in silence and act in my sleep. Everything listens to my doings. I am the ritual in your cooking, the ceremony in your dances, the core of your priests. I am the direction the wind is blowing. I scream in silence and stillness, and when I whisper dissonance, everything shapes to the vibration. I am the voiceless voice, the inactive action, the eloquence. My eloquence precedes and follows. I am meaning sought for, ever present, but never fully grasped. For my notness eludes the customs, rituals, and traditions. I am beyond culture, for I am cultured only in being. I am you, and you are me. We are it, that which only is beyond. Thank you.